Hello and welcome to another edition of My Favourite Board Games, in which we discuss my favourite board games. Very simple format. This edition, for the second time running, is a game I don't actually own, but via the magic of a computer and a digital version, I can show you Wingspan. This is an absolutely beautiful game that it wasn't a sleeper hit. It was more an instant, incredible success that then was impossible to get hold of for quite a long time. This is published by Stonemaier Games, who you may also know as having published Scythe, which is a really big and excellent strategy game. And then they were going to publish this game that's all about birds and laying eggs and accumulating little bits of food and attracting more birds into your habitats and all that sort of thing. And it's got some beautiful assets, like there's a dice tower that's a birdhouse, for crying out loud, and you've got all these lovely delicious eggs you can put down and big chunky wooden dice. And I guess, as board game publishers tend to be, they played it quite cautiously. They only produced, I think it may, don't quote me on this, but it might have been as few as like 500 copies, like a print run. And they were like, well, we're going to see how this goes. And instantly it was met with rave reviews, and everybody wanted a copy. And they went, oh, we don't have any more of those. We'll print some more up. It might take a year. So Wingspan for a long time you just couldn't get hold of. But now, thankfully, it is broadly available, and there is this digital app which I'm going to show you to explain the game and sort of why it's so good, so alluring, and so delightful. And then, bizarrely, small tangent, I want to discuss why I don't own this game and why I don't own The King is Dead, which was last month's episode. But let's get into a game of Wingspan. Let's do custom game. Let's set myself up. This is going to be me. I'm this little blue, I think that's a kookaburra there. Yeah, I want to stay as a kookaburra. Oh, my background. Let's make it a nice woodland. Why not? Going to be playing against 3 AI opponents, 1 on easy, 2 on normal. Sure, why not? Now, this game's so lovely. Everyone's taking their goes right now, the AI players. So once it's my turn and it starts showing me all the bells and whistles, I'm going to show you what this game is all about. I forgot that I need to pick my starting birds, and this is a bad hand of starting birds. This is not good at all. We'll keep the green heron. We need to keep 5 things out of 5 bird cards and 5 different food types. You'll notice this is the cost to play a bird. The green heron, you can either play it with fish or grub, but the common raven requires mice and 2 other. Oofed. But that is a great card, so I think I will keep that. So I'm going to keep the fish so I can play the heron, keep the mouse so we can move toward playing the raven, and this symbol means any food, so I'll keep the grub. Sure, why not? That's 5 things. Done. Secret bonus cards. I'll explain all this in a bit, but these are basically your secret objectives that will earn you extra points at the end of the game. These are kind of all the same, but that one has a higher percentage of cards for the same amount of points, but you need to play more of them. Let's go with that one. Okay, right. Now I can explain what Wingspan is. Because it is my go in the first of 4 rounds, and there are 8 turns left this round. Now, you can see on the left here that there are all of these, there are 4 buttons, and then a button that gives you a handy overview of your habitats. Each of these buttons is a different action that you can take on your turn. You can only take 1 action on your turn. So, you can play a bird, which we'll do last, because that'll end our go. You can activate the woodland. When you activate the woodland, you're allowed to take food. You can activate your grassland. You can do that in order to lay eggs on your birds. You need eggs to play more birds later on. And then you can activate your wetland. The wetland allows you to draw more bird cards, like the 2 I have in my hand here. And that means you can play more birds into your habitats. But as I said, with this last one, what we'll do is we'll play a bird from one of... So we actually need to play this to the wetland. We're going to play the green heron now to the wetland by paying 1 fish.
Green heron. Green herons drop insects and other objects onto the water to attract fish.
I didn't know that about green herons. They're lovely birds. That's the noise they make. The digital version is quite fun in that it animates the cards and it makes them make the right noises. But in the actual game, you do get little bird facts. So people will be like, I am playing the green heron. And someone will say, tell us about the green heron. And it's all very nice and sort of wholesome. So, let's see. We've played the green heron here. Now, if we wanted to, on our go, we could activate this card. We could click in order to draw a new bird card. And when we do that, we then go along the line of this habitat and we can activate any of the birds here. So the green heron, for example, when activated, I can trade a resource from my food for any other food from the supply. So that's if I'm trying to pay a specific bird cost, like if I didn't have a mouse to play the raven, I could do that. As it is, I do have a mouse, but I don't have much other food. So I want to play the raven. So I think what we'll do for this turn is just activate the bird feeder. The bird feeder is a series of dice that are randomly rolled. It doesn't matter what I'm taking, so I'm going to take a fish. And that's my whole go. So you just do one of 4 things on your turn. And you'll see as we kind of play along, you sort of do them in sequence, right? Like, I need 1 more food now to play the raven. And the raven can have 2 eggs on it, you can see down here, but their power is I can discard from any of my other birds. Never mind, I'll need to play a different bird. But we're going to activate the bird feeder again. And we're going to take a mouse this time. Sure, why not? So now we've got... Oh, shit! Oh no, we had enough food last turn to play the raven. Well, that's silly me, but it doesn't hurt to have food. So, 5 turns left this round. It does go quite quickly, this game. We're going to play the common raven. Now, we can play the common raven into any space, because it's got all 3 symbols there on it. Come on, common raven. It's got the woodland, grassland, and wetland there. So, let's have a look. We've already got a bird in the wetland, so let's try and diversify our portfolio here a little bit. We're going to be laying eggs fairly often, and if we lay eggs. Okay, great. We're going to do this. We're going to play the common raven to the grassland, which means if I activate the grassland on another turn, I'll get 2 eggs, and then if I want, I can discard an egg to gain any 2 food from the supply. So that means that I can gain food now.
Common raven. Ravens are omnivores whose diet includes insects, rodents, eggs, birds, and carrion.
Wow. But that means that I can now gain food without necessarily having to activate my woodland, which is very useful. And this is where, hopefully, if you've been following along, hopefully I've been doing a good job of this, you can see that this game is... At its heart, it's an engine builder. What we're trying to do here is fill our little our areas. Oh, that's quite good, the pie-billed grebe. But then I like a black skimmer. It's a little bit expensive to play. That would be quite good. Let's get the black skimmer. Why not? Oh, I don't know. I just don't know. Draw 2 bird cards if you do. But that can only go in the wetlands, so we don't want that. We do want this. Okay, right. We're taking the black skimmer. Sure, why not? But the idea is, in this game, you start putting down cards that are going to power you up as you do actions and allow you... Oh, here we go. So, for example... This is great. Look. Okay. For example, the green heron. Its power, when activated, trade any 1 from the supply to gain another food from the supply. The black skimmer will only eat fish. So we're going to give a mouse and receive a fish. And that's the green heron's power. It's just helped us get a little bit further ahead. So what you're doing really is you're taking these lovely actions and you're learning about birds and you're assembling a lovely little team of birds. And other people are doing the same thing, and it is competitive. You are going to be comparing your points at the end of the game, and obviously the greatest number of points wins. This is not good. I need another fish in order to play the black skimmer, and there's no fish in the bird feeder. What could I do? I could... Oh, I need to... Aha. Okay, here's a good choice for my next go. If I want to play the black skimmer into the wetland, you can see here, I'll need to pay an egg. So, I'm going to activate... I hope this makes sense. I'm going to activate my grasslands to lay eggs. I'm going to lay an egg. I'm going to lay 2 eggs, actually, on the green heron. And then, I'm going to activate the common raven. I'm going to discard an egg. I'll discard this egg in order to gain any two food from the supply. What a go. So we're going to get a fish. And we're going to get a grub. Sure, why not? Great, so now we're in a really good position to play the black skimmer on the next turn, and we've got an egg to pay for it when it goes in there. I was playing this game recently on holiday with some friends, and one of us was cooking and not playing, and he just kept taking the piss out of us because we kept saying things like, right, I'm going to tuck under my grackle, and then everyone can have a cherry, but I need to roll all of the dice not in the bird feeder and see if there are any fish. And he was just making fun of us for just saying that we were making it up, basically. And it is for here, like, I've laid eggs, I've drawn birds, they've laid a juniper titmouse, sure, okay, yeah, I understand what that means, sort of. But what you end up doing is across your 3 zones, you build up a stock of birds that are worth victory points at the end of the game, but have their own little powers that mean that you can play birds faster and more efficiently, and you can just start getting things done in your own time. Like, for example, the black skimmer, which we're going to play now, roll all dice not in the bird feeder when activated. If any are fish, we get that fish and we cash it on the card. That means it's worth a point at the end of the game. Very, very useful. The black skimmer has to go here. Oh no! No, it's fine. Okay, play a bird. I'm going to play the black skimmer. Yes, I want to pay that cost. Yes, I want to use this egg.
Black skimmer. Skimmers plow the water with their beaks, snapping shut when they hit a fish.
I actually did know that about the black skimmer, which is why you can see its lower jaw sort of protrudes out. It's got an underbite. Anyway, we've got 1 turn left in the first round. I've not been paying attention to the round points system, but that doesn't matter. That's okay. What do we want to do? We've got no bird cards, and we could really do with that. So let's get some bird cards. Now, that's pretty great. We like a northern cardinal. We'll take that. And we'll also top deck one. We've got a Brant. Oh, wow. When played, draw the 3 face-up bird cards in the bird tray. Okie dokie. Right, we've got some bird cards now. And now we can activate the bird skimmer. The black skimmer, sorry. Roll all dice not in the bird feeder. There are 4 of them. Fingers crossed. Hello. We got a fish. It's cashed on the card. Bang. A victory point at the end of the game. And now we can trade any one food for any other food from the supply. If we want to play that northern cardinal or the Brant, the grub isn't very useful. So let's swap it out for berries. Now it's the end of the round. Each round has an objective, and you can play for it and gain additional points. For this one, it was the most number of birds in the woodland. Only 1 person went for it. Oh no, that's not true. Basically, it ranks you in order of points, and then it gives points out. So the puffin player got 4 points. These 2 were tied and got nothing. I got nothing. Oh well. But the next round is a number of birds in the grassland, of which I have one. So if I keep playing Birds of the Grassland, I could be in with a sweet 5, 2, or 1 points. And then we move on to the next round. You may have noticed there are only 7 turns left, because this game gets faster as you go. And basically this game is, a friend described it recently as Scythe without the fighting. And I think that's absolutely accurate, because I've never, ever had a bad time playing this game. Let's activate this habitat. We've got berries. I want to gain. Oh, we can re-roll all the stuff in the bird feeder. That's useful. Let's take a wheat so we can play the cardinal on the next turn. You spend this time learning about birds, having a lovely chat with your friends, and building a clever little engine that really makes you. Oh, can choose a card. Why do I need a card? Oh, because someone else has some of the card powers allow you to do things. Like take a card or take a food. But as you can see, I'm starting to put together this little tableau, and you become really fond of it. Like, you know, you'll activate your wetland, and you'll be like, here comes my black skimmer, here we go. Oh, it's green heron time. And you just get strangely excited about it. And I've had games where I've come plumb last, but I've still had a great time, because I've had my own little team of birds, and they've all just been so good. They've done so well. It's really, really nice. And I kind of, again, hopefully this video has not been too challenging to follow. I feel like I've done a moderately okay job of explaining what it is while also trying to play. The board game edition it's a lot easier, I feel, because you've just got everything in front of you. You're not clicking through bits of an app and wondering where to click. You're picking up a card and moving it over there. You know, it's a lot more user-friendly. The learning curve is not anywhere near as bad as you'd think to look at it, because there's loads and loads of components and lots of little moving parts. And also, on these cards, you know, let's admit it, that's a lot of symbols. So we are actually going to play the Northern Cardinal, so we may as well play it there. We're going to play the cost. But
Cardinal. In most North American species, only males sing, but female cardinals break this rule.
Wow. But to look on a card, it's quite annoying now because my face is in the way. Let's move my face. Look at the Northern Cardinal. Okay, there are... Yeah. How many symbols on this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a power. Oh, 7 different types of symbol just on this one card. You've got its habitat, the food costs, how many victory points it is, what its nest type is, how big the bird is, what its activation power is, how many eggs it can have, what its name is. You've got a little bird fact on there. It's a lot to take in, but like so many games with just sort of lots of symbols like this, and sort of powers, it seems a lot harder to pick up than it truly is. But once you've got a hand of just basically what the different terms mean, like what when activated means, or when played, or once between turn means, and what is the lay eggs action. And, you know, I can lay an egg, okay, on another bird with this type of nest. Okay, once you get your head around it, it's actually very, very quick. I have played this game quite a lot with new players, and pretty much every single time they have been right there in the pack or right up at the top by the end of the game. This isn't one of those ones where you play it once and you're like, okay, I think I know what I'm doing now. Maybe next time I can have a good go at it. This is a game where by the end of it you'll know what you're doing, and you'll be an honest to goodness Wingspan player. So hang on, I need to try and get my face back over here. What else is there to say about it, really? It is an absolutely bloody delightful game. I don't think I'm playing this one especially well. I need to gain food from the bird feeder. That much is clear. And it'd be good if I could lay another bird into here, then I'd be getting 2 food per activation, not just a measly 1. So let's say we want to play the yellow-billed cuckoo. We need grubs. So let's take... Yeah, I'm going to activate the habitat. This is what I mean about the app version. It's like... It'll take a grub. If we want, we could discard a card to also take another one. We won't bother. But we are going to gain a cherry from the supply. Hooray! Oh, there isn't one. Well, I guess I can't do that then. But the supply... Oh, can I re-roll all the dice? The AMP version has some confusing elements to it, but I promise you this board game is absolutely bloody wonderful. I really love playing it. So that brings me to the question, why don't you own Wingspan, Johnny? I've been thinking about this recently, because I'm toying with the idea of buying it. I've also been toying with the idea of buying The King is Dead, because it's 20 quid, and it's brilliant. Wingspan retails for about £60, by the way. You can probably find it cheaper now, and there are 2 expansions, which add more delicious birds, so why wouldn't you want that, basically? But it is, honestly, I feel really, really worth the layout. But why do I not own Wingspan? And I think a lot of that is to do with, increasingly, board games for me are getting tied up in groups of people, like my favourite people to play with. Like, I have board games in my collection where I'm like, this game, I love this game, but depending on who's round, I'll be like, but it's not the right fit for this group of people. I think the best times to be had with Mysterium are with this lot, where we play it and it's raucous and silly and fun. This lot, when we get together, we're more suited to this type of game. So maybe I won't suggest this game, I'll suggest this type of game. You end up tailoring the board games you play or you suggest to the people you're with. And that's just the thing, is that if I bought Wingspan, I'd be like, brilliant, yeah, great. But who am I going to play Wingspan with, other than the people I already play Wingspan with? And there's already a copy of Wingspan doing the rounds with them. I love Wingspan, but I don't love Wingspan so much that it's a game I want to play with absolutely everybody. I've got my own copy of Codenames, because I'll play Codenames with anyone. I got my own copy of Sheriff of Nottingham because I became the Sheriff of Nottingham person in our friend group. And I've got Twilight Imperium 4 because it's absolutely brilliant, and also, no one wants to lug that across the city. It just makes sense for everyone to have a copy of Twilight Imperium 4, but I don't know, it's kind of something I've only become aware of recently, as I've become less magpie-ish about board games. It used to be that if I played a board game, I was like, that board game's great, I need to own it right now, I need it. I'd order it online before I'd even got home, because I just wanted to have it. And I'm I guess as I've got more of a complete collection, or a larger collection, I've become less of a completionist about buying all of the good board games. And I think there's something really nice in that. It's like Wingspan to me is like one of those friends that you don't text, you don't, aim to see on your own terms. You don't ever suggest, let's meet up for coffee or whatever. But if you run into them at a friend's party or, at a gathering or whatever, you see them and you're just like, oh, there they are, and you beeline for them. I say you bullseye for them. You beeline for them, and you're like, I'm gonna have a great time now, because here you are, and here we are, and this is our friendship that we have solely predicated on bumping into each other at random intervals. And that's what Wingspan is to me, I think, and a bunch of other games like The King is Dead. It's not to say I wouldn't play them with other people, but it's more that I love Wingspan, but I don't want to live with Wingspan, I want to be surprised by Wingspan, so I can be like, oh, there it is, and just play it when people suggest it. If someone says, we should play Wingspan, because it feels like the right game for that scenario, I will always say yes. I always be up for Wingspan. But it's not the kind of game that I want to try and judge and offer to other people. Is that weird? Do other people do that? Is that a strangely particular thing? I don't know. But it's something I weirdly feel quite strongly about. It's nice to have games where you just you've got a casual arrangement. So no strings attached. I'll see you when I see you. I'll read out your bird facts. I'll re-roll the dice in the bird feeder. That sort of game. I think that's nice. So yeah, Wingspan. It's bloody lovely. I've kind of shown it off without really showing it off. This cardinal really wants me to gain a thing from the supply, but I can't. So, well, don't skip the power, okay, but do game 1 from the supply. Oh, I just did it. Okay, well, that worked. It's a lovely game, and you know what? When you're actually playing it, it looks a hell of a lot more like this. And yeah, it's just a treat. It's a treat, and I think it's wonderful. Do you like Wingspan? Do you not like Wingspan? What's your favourite bird? Please tell me in the comments, because I like talking about board games. It's nice. I used to do it full time, funnily enough, and yeah, I don't know. I'd also be interested to know what kind of games you love the most but haven't bought because you want to just encounter them in the wild. If that even is a thing that you do. Maybe I'm just a weirdo hunting Bigfoot, but Bigfoot is a game about birds. Who knows? But anyway, this is a long-winded way of saying thank you very much for watching. As ever, you can check out the Patreon. My Patreon is patreon.com/Johnny Chiodini. I'm on Twitter, regrettably at John John There's loads more for you to watch on the channel either way. I hope you enjoyed this. Do like and leave a comment and subscribe and all of that stuff that helps with the algorithm. And I'll see you next time on my favourite board games. Who knows? Maybe it'll even be a game I own. We'll see. Goodbye.